Hello, this is Compound Interest Stock Guy, and today we're going to be talking about Tilray-Chart and Tilt Chart. So stay tuned. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Give me thumbs up, appreciate it. Leave a comment down below. Hit the bell notification so you're notified when I upload a new video. I also want to disclose I'm not a financial advisor. This is just for entertainment, information purposes. Do not buy or sell based on anything in this video. Buy or sell after you did your research, your due diligence, and you like the investment you're pursuing. So yeah, let's look at this chart. Okay, so these are the candlesticks. Um, so right here, it looked as though if Tilray hit a bottom on this candlestick right here on the daily, and this was like a few weeks ago, and then it gapped up to 40, like around like 51, and then it came down to about well, I don't think it must have just hit that for a little bit. Like, says it hit 34, but yeah, I mean, it doesn't really look if it was heavily traded at that price, because the candlesticks just showing it around 38, 40. It might have been it's probably just like a market order that hit it for a second, and then now it's going on a good bullish run. So now it's getting out of the Bollinger bands, and yeah, keeps my Wi-Fi is really slow right now, but it's going above the Bollinger bands, which it 90% of the trades never outside the Bollinger bands, but like look out here, it went outside the Bollinger bands and then it came back. So what it needs to do is kind of just like go to the right, but as you see this curl on the T line, you call this the T line when it's right around here, is it it needs to come. The Bollinger Bands are expanding, so the room for the price action can move to different directions. Like it can go down to about $33, down to about 50 right now, and it looks as though it's just like widening, so it's probably gonna get down to like about 28, and then it'll expand to about like 55, 60, and it looks, because this T line is just like going up and it's curving, that's showing like a bullish momentum. Like right around here is when it was like starting to get that U curve. The price was just of the stock just started to creep up, because the bulls felt as if they were in control at that point, and that was the gap was filled right here, right? So the gap was filled right here. So it gapped up this one day. I can't remember the news, but it gapped up, right? And then it went down because it had to fill that gap, and then it filled that gap, and then it's like, okay, right on. Then there's no gap to fill, so now it's just clean, and it's riding that uptrend, right? So I mean, it's going to go through peaks and valleys, but I think that and then you look at the RSI, it's around like 64. So it's getting to be close to overbought, and it's showing on the Bollinger Band, it's getting up above that. So my prediction would be it's probably going to retrace somewhere, like it might hit like 59, 60, or maybe 65, and then it's going to retrace back down to 57, 55, and then it's probably going to slowly go up to like 70, 80 in the next coming months. I mean, I can't predict every price action and stuff, but that's just my opinion on where I think it's going. Like the RSI is probably going to get up to about like 80, 85, and then it'll come back down below this overbought, and then it'll want to ride it up again and again. So I think that's going to happen over the next coming months. But again, it might have a big downfall too. Like it might hit like 60 and then come crashing down to like 45, and kind of clean out that RSI because it's too overbought, and it needs like a lot more room to just run for legalization 2.0 when it gets to that point. But yeah, that's my opinion on Tilray, and I own strikes at 60 till September 19th. So hey, I want to see it go to 80, 90, 100, 150. Let's go. But again, I don't have control over the market, but there's a lot of effing liquidity coming into the stock. There was like around like 150 million or so. No, it was like 200. It was like 215 million that were traded today, and then Canopy traded around 500 million, and it was a bloodbath for Canopy today. But yeah, that's my opinion on Tilray. Now let's get to Tilt Holdings. Okay, so Tilt Holdings, uh, I think I'm not sure when they started trading. Maybe yeah, it was like around here, and then it went up to about $4, and then it came down, and I thought like, this is my opinion, I thought that it was a good buy around like $3 because I just felt like the revenues were really good, but I got ahead of the market, and I FOMO'd, and it wasn't a good idea. But yeah, I mean, like around here, like it has some runs here and there, but it's just not holding. It's not holding, and now it said on May 6th that it was a bullish pattern. Like, that's why you can't trust these. Like, you can't trust bar chart, or you can't trust this thing where it says it's like a sell or a buy, right? Because they can be lagging indicators, and they can be wrong too. It just says it's like a bullish reversal, medium reliability. So you can't trust them. You have to do your own due diligence when you're trading. But I look at this as like, okay, so this T line's going down, okay, going down, going down. It's at the bottom of the Bollinger Bands. The trading was really high today, right? So when it gets down to the bottom of the Bollinger Bands, or like this T line, usually there's a lot of freaking liquidity. The volume just peaks, and when it gets to the top too, like people start selling out. But yeah, I mean, it just all depends. Like it depends on how like vertical the Bollinger Bands are getting. Like, for example, like on a Bollinger Band like here, it's like so vertical, right? So you just want to keep riding it up, right? And this was like a RTO, right? So as far as, you couldn't buy tilt at like 30 cents, right? They didn't start trading the reverse takeover, and their all share structure didn't happen till here. But yeah, I mean, right here, well, I got too excited and I bought shares, but I bought shares at I think like 140, so I'm lowering my cost average. Now next week or the week after, if it goes to like around a buck or 95 cents, I think I'm gonna buy like close to 2,000 shares. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. And yeah, I mean, it's hard to say, but I just think their revenues are really good. Like their pro forma is around like 40 million, and what their assets are is their Baker technology, which is a technology that's used for a lot of these cannabis companies in the USA. So they're using their expertise to be more efficient companies in the cannabis space. So that's an asset. That's a very good company technology in itself, and it's not being valued. Now they do Jupiter. Jupiter does a lot of vape sales, and then they have some other. They're getting into dispensaries, and they have some other businesses. But I mean, it is kind of hard to understand it, and I don't completely fully understand the whole business. But I'd say the majority of their sales come from the Baker and their Jupiter. But they had a business that they wanted to do in Powell River in Vancouver Island, and that's being like kiboshed. So that was one of the businesses, and I'm not really sure how things will work out with that company, if they will just sell it off and get the money, or I'm not sure. It's a question mark. But they have another company where they make just like small small types of, I don't know, they're just, it helps build a construction, like small little buildings, and then just add them together into to make it into indoor grows. And it's a lot, it's cheap. So that's one of their businesses. And yeah, I mean, but the majority of the business is the Jupiter and the Baker, and then they're going to be growing with their dispensaries. So the Jupiter and the Baker technology is the profit margins are pretty low. They're around like 15%. And well, maybe they did, I think they did 22% this quarter, if my memory serves me correct. But it's not like at the high end. It's not like Charlotte's Web where they're doing 70% profit margins. But again, it's still decent. But once they get into like gonna have more dispensaries, and they're going to get closer to the 30% margins, and they're going to grow their revenues with the Jupiter. Now, there's no saying that they can't have a big deal. See, Pax Labs did the whole deal with a lot of companies like Aurora and Organigram, if my memory serves me, and some other companies. And so that's like really good. But you got Canopy Growth that's got deals with Valence as well as MetaPharm Labs. So there's no saying that it'll be an exclusive. As far as I read it, and I didn't never read that it was an exclusive deal. So as far as my understanding is that Tilt with Jupiter could still have a decent sized deal with a lot of these LPs in Canada, and that would be a big catalyst for the company, because they've been on a crazy downtrend, going from like $4 down to like 110. So yeah, I mean, Canaccord had like a $7 price target, and honestly, I don't think it's too hard to I don't think it's too hard to believe that it doesn't hit $5 before 2020. That's just my opinion. And there's certain reasons for that, for their growing their revenues, more dispensaries, more deals, just things like that that'll grow the business. So again, that's my thinking. And just with the hype train, when and USA, they're USA player, they're a big USA player. USA, you got Curaleaf, you got like, I just don't think that Kush bottles and Tilt are really getting valued. But it's like Harvest Health is valued pretty good, and Cresco's valued pretty good, but Tilt's valued so cheap in my opinion, if because they're really a big player in the space, and they're getting just killed every day. I mean, so I mean, I just think this creates a buying opportunity. But again, I'm not a financial advisor, and this is just, it's like, okay, so the T line's kind of downtrending and the Bollinger's downtrending. So I mean, it's gonna hit a bottom somewhere around here. I don't think it has I don't think it can go like forever low. It's okay. It doesn't make sense that it just keep going to like 50 cents. I mean, that just there's so much volume in the US exchange as well on the OTC, and it had like crazy spikes today. It would like hit 133, it was up 10%, and then it closed up only 1%. Like, yeah, just it's just kind of wild in my opinion. And I think that when the institutions or whoever big holders who are buying these are done kind of like getting their fair share of their accumulation, they're gonna run it up back to 250, 3, 4, 5. Now with these Bollinger Bands, you gotta let's do the 1 day. So yeah, I mean now it's getting to the point where it's almost wanting to do a U curve. I mean that's just my opinion. It's still on a downtrend and it hasn't completely hit that. But you look at the Bollinger Bands, it's even like getting to the point where it's going to expand. So it's on the $2 line. Now it wants to hit about the 220 on the high of the Bollinger Band, and uh, and it's going to expand to the downside as well. But as soon as it's gonna go, it's when it starts going on that uptrend, you're gonna see the Bollinger Bands get up to like 270, 320, 340, in my opinion. And that's gonna be where the price action is gonna get to like 220, 240, 260. That's what I really think. And you see, it's just like it's trying to test that. And I've been watching lots of charts, from like S&P 500 charts, like 3M and Apple, and I've been really get trying to get my groove on with these charts and these Bollinger Bands. But whenever it kind of gets to the point where it's going down around here, or it gets below the Bollinger Bands. Like sometimes it just gets crushed, but this has never really hit the below the Bollinger Bands. It's just been slowly, steadily declining. So I don't know. I don't know how far down. Like it's below the $1 on the Bollinger Bands, so maybe it's gonna go down to like 80 cents, and maybe it'll hit a low of like 90, 95, 101, something like that could be the bottom. And then because it just seems as though that downtrend's losing steam, uh because it's right around here, it's just not doing anything, whereas like back here it was just constantly going down, down, and up. ah that's just my take. That's just me reading what the chart's telling me. And I think in the next couple weeks or so, you're gonna someday in the next 2 weeks, you're gonna get a really good buying opportunity. You're gonna see this line up. Now let's look at the RSI. Yeah, there's a lot of volume, right? It's like close to 2 million. And you gotta think though, why is there so much volume in a company that's one of the top five revenue companies in the USA? I mean, there's got to be something to it. Like, so RSI is touching around 30 on the daily, and whenever it hits that, it wants to go back up, go back up, go back up, and now it's just kind of chilling around there. So I don't know. I could see it go below and get oversold, go down to like 25 and hang around there, and that's where you're gonna probably see it, a chance where it can get anywhere from like 80 to like $1. And I mean, if you want to go small or you want to go big or whatever the case, I think it's a good time to get into tilt. But again, I'm not a financial advisor. This is just my take. I know there's some negatives about tilt holdings, but I think even if you want to buy like 500 shares, I mean, whatever the case, you could probably book a pretty good profit if you get something around like $1. That's just my feeling. Again, I hope you like the video, and give me thumbs up. And until next time, peace.